Mine was like that, yes.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I'm Laura Schifrin, and I'm calling the meeting to order of the Townsend Housing Authority on this Thursday, April 1st. I know that we're posted for 7 o'clock, right, Jody?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you make the correction on the agenda, please? It says 7:30. I just caught it.
Oh yeah, didn't even notice.
Sorry. Okay, I'd like a roll call vote of the board members.
Courtney Burley, present.
Yes, Chad Uranium present.
Laura Schifrin present, and Jody is here assisting us. And I have not heard from Natalie, and I don't see her on.
Texting her right now.
Thank you. I'd like to also announce that the meeting is being recorded. Will also be available on YouTube later. And if you will all indulge me, I'd like to do the stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And as always, we thank our veterans and especially our first responders today. Can't thank them enough, actually. Chairman's additions, deletions to agenda unforeseen 48 hours prior to this meeting. I don't have anything. Jody, is there something I should have?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. All right. Is there any board member that needs to add something to the agenda? 1.6 state rep, Chaz?
I had gone to 2 meetings since our last meeting. The 2 meetings really were, one of them was, it was a state meeting that talked about the housing crisis in the state of Massachusetts. They also talked about the difficulty that landlords are having in regards to the, or financially, and looking to see if there's any remedies that the state could come up with, which I thought was good that the state was looking at that side of the issue as well. And they also were, the main focus was the funds that they that were increased that are going to be sent back to the state on how each municipality is going to be spending those funds, what should be allocated towards housing, what is going to be acceptable to housing, that kind of stuff. The other meeting that I had gone to was with Representative Sheila Harrington. It was looking at who, I guess the state was looking for feedback on what need it was in the community in regards to not only housing, but for rental, for mortgage assistance, how are those programs going? Is there anything that the state can do? So it was the fact-finding mission. They also gave us names and telephone numbers of people for certain areas if we had any questions or we needed some help with anything. Which, you know, if we get into any difficulties, just, you know, we can talk and then I can give those to the right people. And the last thing that I did was I had a very good conversation with Representative Sheila Harrington in regards to the upcoming housing production plan that Townsend that we're putting together, and we're asking for the town to allow us to reallocate funds so that we can get that housing production plan written in quite a expedient manner. A lot of the things that I think that we're going to be bringing up as we go down the road. We do have some good support with the state. And as usual, Representative Harrington is right there with us. She understands where our focus is. She understands where our what we feel is important for our community, and she's going to be there 100% for us. So I did want to pass that on. I always enjoy having a meeting with her because things happen when you talk with her, and I think that's a good thing. And outside of that, that's all I have for my report today.
Okay. Did you happen to, I guess we don't have to. She is on our agenda for 7:30. Do you know if she is planning on that?
Yes, I put her on there. I also put Joan on there, just in case they did. Know that there's a couple of issues that'll come up that I thought we could get some feedback from the Affordable Trust for. Sheila, I did text her earlier, and she is going to try to jump on. Without getting too personal, I guess her kids are home, so she wanted to have dinner with them, and then if she can get everything done, then she said she'll jump on.
Okay, not personal, but the whole world knows now.
Family is family, though,
And she definitely is family to everyone. She really is. So I have texted Joan as well to let her know that she was on at 7:10 because.
Hi.
There she is. Okay. Thank you, Joan, for getting on. That was just a little mistake. I think that the actual notice that was sent out by Hartley was correct. So I think that had the 7 o'clock on it. So I'm sorry for any confusion there. So we are at 7:08, and because you're called for at 7:10, I'd like to just, I think I would mention it again, I guess. One of the things that we had gotten from Jody in the email was on the affordable housing that's being offered in Pepperell. I'm so jealous. I am so jealous that they have been able to put together this little development, and it's 5 3-bedroom single family homes. How awesome for them. And they are at a very, in today's market, at a very affordable price. And having all that information of just how people can apply and what the criteria is, I wish we could do something like that. I really do. That's always been kind of a goal, and how fortunate that they've been able to do that.
I think we can. That's something that we can use as a footprint going forward. They've done a top-notch job on that.
Right. And I wonder, okay, so they are using MCO Housing Services as their partner in the promotion of this. And then it goes into it is a lottery. Yeah, a lottery via Zoom on the 25th that you have from now until then to apply.
Lori, I posted it on Nextdoor. And Jody, thank you so much for sending that out. Veronica forwarded it to me, and I put it on Nextdoor. I put the link on for the information session. I believe that's April 8th. If you go on their website, boy, they've got all kinds of, that's quite an operation. It's very impressive.
Yep.
Good for them.
Yeah. Now, Maureen O'Hagan is, I think she's part of the MCO. I don't think she's part of the local housing authority. I think this is all the partnership that's doing the promotion.
Do you remember when we were in the selectmen's chambers and we had talked to a couple of individuals, and I can't remember if it was when we were moving forward with veterans or we were looking for something else. But I think that we tried to get MCO, but we couldn't get a time. We couldn't, we just never.
With them.
Yeah, we never were able to get them for an appointment.
Well, we'll see what happens in the hopefully near future. Joan. It
Yes.
is 7:11 now. Thank you for joining us this evening. I know that you had a couple of meetings in reference to topics we discussed at the February meeting. But since that time, you've had a couple of meetings in reference to those same topics, and Sheila Harrington was very instrumental in those. Do you want to give a report on that?
Sure. So my extreme level of frustration led me to reach out to Sheila Harrington, and she had been versed already in why we have such an extreme level of frustration here as per the CDBG grant. The money's actually being used and utilized with the clock ticking because it was supposed to run out on December 31st, and we got it extended to June 31st. But there's still over 600,000 sitting there, and the concern was also there was 26,000 in fuel assistance money that's just been sitting there, and so we got it jump started. The bottom line on the fuel assistance was someone has to prove they maxed out or was denied their New England Farm Workers Council fuel benefit, which is $500. But Lisa Gilhooly, who runs the heating program for them down in Springfield, graciously offered to write letters to everybody. The documents I prepared to jumpstart that she wanted, they got no. And then, a month later, Mr. Kreidler generated something, but I cannot reach her. My guess is she is of her word. That is the sense I get of Lisa Gilhooly. And my guess is those letters are about to go out or have gone out. Courtney, in case you don't know, and Jody, this would be the 42 or 44 identified families in town that New England Farm Workers has either denied or has given their maximum heating, or their fuel assistance for this season. Once those people have that letter in hand, they can then contact Town Hall and/or Diane Hansen at Community Opportunities Group, and I also put that on next door and with her name and her phone number, because hey, they're getting $160,000. We're not, I'm not. But I haven't heard a peep, and we're supposed to have some reporting out. Maybe Mr. Kreidler will have something to tell us Tuesday night at the BOS, or maybe Sheila, who's going to join us shortly, will have something to tell us that surprises us. But it doesn't look good, but we tried.
Yeah, this is, I was in attendance, Lori, to the meeting that Joan's talking about. The issue was that there has been no notification to anyone that we still have fuel assistance, and both Joan and myself have been, we've written up flyers, we've written up, we've kind of said that we would be more than willing to, run this, do this ourselves, do the marketing, do all of that kind of stuff. Give us the numbers that these people need to sign, and we were basically told that we are not managers of the CBDG grant, so we really shouldn't be involved in it. Having said that, between Joan's investigation and my talking to certain individuals, we finally got our voice heard that there's $26,000 of fuel assistance that's sitting here that's not getting out, and if we don't take action now, it's not going to get out. So I also had I've been in contact with Joan almost on a daily basis in regards to this. I've called Lisa as well, Joan, just so you know. As a matter of fact, I called her 2 times today just to to fill up her voicemail box.
She
But-
is tapped out, and we appreciate that. I mean, she's like a squirrel on a little hamster on one of those wheels, you know.
Absolutely. But bottom line is that, it was a very difficult time for Joan and I to ascertain who actually is managing this grant. Is it the Board of Selectmen? Is it the town administrator? Who is actually in charge? Who is taking control of this? And with weeks and weeks, which now are turning into months of running around, we have found that it is the Board of Selectmen that is in charge of it. Once I finally got verification of that, or I should say we got verification of that, I contacted Selectman Kell and had a long conversation in regards to what we need to move forward. This will be moving forward. Unfortunately, I'm praying that it's not a day late and a dollar short at this point. But to my knowledge, Joan, I think those letters did go out. Those 44 or 42 letters did go out.
Yeah, that's my guess.
Yeah, did go out to those individuals.
That's right.
And even if those individuals do not need the fuel assistance, the ability for us to get that information to them so that they have it just in case, I think is important.
Right.
And
And
I
we
do
can't
wanna-
get so we had 2 meetings with Sheila Harrington, and at the second one, Wayne Dara from Community Opportunities Group, who is the president, who curiously has no LinkedIn profile and comes on the screen as Citizen One, doesn't put his name up. He hopefully, anything that reaches their office, they will actually deal with. But he did, the one that, helpful thing he said was that we can't get fuel assistance extended to the end of May. So Tuesday night, we have a big discussion about this at BOS. So we will ask for that.
And again, Joan, I want to thank you for all the work that you're doing on this.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Did you want to hear anything about the rental and mortgage assistance, how that's going?
Sure.
Okay. So Central Mass Housing Alliance has informed me we have 11 approved people, and there are 14 in the wings. I meant to get out my calculator and do the average ask before I got on, because I thought I had till 7:30, but I see 2 people on here at 4,000. There's 2 $4,000 amounts, 3,800, 3,500, 3,300, 1,792, 28, 28, 39, 12. 1 or 2 people also got rent stipends, and someone that was really badly in arrears. It was a family. They were grossly in arrears because the mom and the dad had been laid off, and they all had COVID. They got bundled up with Raft. So I'm really liking CMHA. There aren't many. Talk about a business one could have if one could figure out how to keep always having some business, would be a grant administration business, but they're doing a nice job for us, and I'm grateful for that. And I know they're busy too, but whenever I reach out and say I have to make a report, they always get back to me.
So when you said 11 approval and you gave some of the amounts, were you talking about mortgages? Because then you mentioned about rent stipends. Were you talking about mortgage assistance, or
they don't tell me if it's for mortgage or rent. They just put down the payee who's getting the money, which would be a landlord. I don't see any. Oh yeah, Fidelity Cooperative Bank. So maybe that was a mortgage.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it looks to me like it's landlords.
Okay.
Penny Mac, that might be a bank.
What is it?
Penny Mac. Penny and then MAC.
I'm not. Doesn't sound familiar to me.
It could be a realty trust or something. But so.
Mortgage Assistance Corporation.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. So, in hindsight, maybe with COVID running down, we're not going to come anywhere near to dispersing the whole 100,000, and maybe we should have, upped the ante, but, better, we did the best we could, and people are getting relief, and I'll keep advertising on Nextdoor. And, TEO agreed to put out some more PSAs for the fuel assistance. and
Okay.
this.
Okay. And social media seems to be the
Oh, yeah.
thing that people mostly look at. So getting it on Townsend next door or whatever, what's happening
Yeah,
is probably a good thing.
yeah,
In TEO, if we get flyers to TEO, they actually hand them directly to the clients themselves too. So when they do the food delivery and all of that, so that's also a good service that we provide.
Yeah, it seems that if we were more aware about what was going on a year ago, you know, when the lockdown happened and people were losing their jobs, we had these funds then. Yet nobody was making sure that the public would know that we had these funds. I'm not understanding the purpose of a grant and giving you money and saying that you've received a grant and then nobody benefits from it.
Yeah.
well, that's the problem, and Chaz and I did say to Sheila, you know, here's the problem, here's all this money, and by the time it comes out the bottom of the funnel, it's a trickle, and it's a real problem. And plus that if you, you know, Mr. Kryler very pointedly said that he is not the grant administrator. He is not managing the grant manager for the CDBG. And I think the perception was that BOS was in charge, but I think their perception was that he was in charge, and there you have it.
Yeah, communications,
Yeah.
very valuable thing. when
Yes.
used properly. Okay, well, we're at 7:22. I don't see Sheila yet. I'd like to start on the work session items, and we could kind of get through the agenda. 3.1 CBDG. Oh, well, I guess we just had that, right?
Yep.
Okay, moving right along. 3.2 annual town meeting. 3.21 reallocation of the warrant. Chaz.
I guess it would be a question of the board, as everyone knows that I am up for an election for another position in town. And this would need to be presented in town hall. So I don't have a problem in presenting it unless you guys somebody else wants to present it in the town meeting.
Is this the warrant to change the feasibility study to money to the trust fund?
Yep.
Can you give a little background on that, please, Chaz?
A little background on the warrant.
Yeah. What are you reallocating from where to what? You know what the logistics are here.
We had a warrant article 2 years ago for $35,000 to do a feasibility study at our Dudley Road property.
Mm-hmm.
And we also have had other available situations that we could get this feasibility study from. With my position on the planning board, I got the planning board interested in applying for a 43D grant, which basically has a feasibility study built into it. So our Dudley Road actually got a grant portion of the feasibility done with that. So since we haven't spent the $35,000 and
Yeah.
we, as the housing authority, still need to write a housing production plan, we're asking the town to allow us to reallocate the $35,000 for the feasibility study so we can apply it towards a master plan, a housing production plan. And then that housing production plan then would be able to be used in the master plan that's being developed right now.
Super.
So
Thank you.
then I misspoke a little bit because for whatever reason I misspoke when I said reallocation. Okay, I didn't mean that it was going to the trust fund. I meant that it was being reallocated for a housing plan, for the housing production plan. right?
Yes.
Yeah, so that
I don't
doesn't,
think,
sorry,
I
I
don't think-
misspoke.
I don't think you did.
I did. When the tape comes out, we'll find out.
Yeah, right. Well, my thought is that if I do get elected in the position that would be on the Board of Selectmen, I can present this there, or one of you guys can present it on town floor.
Oh, sure.
However you guys want to do it is, I just wanted to leave it up to you guys to whatever you want to do.
Well, why don't we decide after the election? Because let's put it this way. It'll be either you or the chair of the housing authority, and we don't know who that's going to be. I'm not running. So, I mean, if I get back in, if I get elected through a write-in, then that will happen. But if not, I'll be standing right next to Courtney.
Which is why, because I don't want to put Courtney on the spot, because this is going to be the election and then the town meeting. We're not going to have a housing authority meeting. So I kind of wanted to maybe get it a little solid. I don't have a problem presenting it, Courtney.
When's the annual town meeting? Did we find it?
Hey,
The 6th, Jody?
You know what? Let me double check because I was looking at the election. I'm focused on the election right now. Hang on one second.
I want to say it's the Tuesday after the election.
So I think it's the 6th.
Close, yeah. Okay.
It's May 4th.
Okay. First Tuesday afterwards.
First Tuesday after the election being the 26th and the annual meeting being May 4th.
We know what time, please?
Probably 7. I mean, that's how it usually is. I could be wrong, but
Yeah, I don't even think they've worked that out, the selectmen.
oh, they didn't even pick a time. I will say that it usually is at 7, but
There's nothing on the website or there's nothing on the calendar, so
oh, okay.
that's what you're looking at, Jody.
3.3 MHP panel discussion.
That was a email that Jody had sent out to everybody. It's the Mass Housing Partnership. There's a panel discussion in regards to developing affordable housing units.
That was on the 12th, right? Like in the lunchtime? Is that right?
Yes.
It was or it will be?
Or, sorry, will be on the 12th. It's like at noon or something. If I remember.
Correct.
So Monday, the 12th of April?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sure there's an email out to us on that.
Yeah, that has it. I
But I
threw
think-
that on the agenda just in case somebody had any questions in regards to that. I think that if somebody can attend that would be very, very important to get that information. At least to get the PowerPoint slides for everybody that we can take a peek at it.
Okay.
I have a meeting right to noon, but I might be able to jump on after it as long as it gets out. I might be able to get in and listen in.
I
Okay.
can too. I'm pretty sure I would be able to sign up and attend as well.
Courtney, I might want to suggest for you to register so that you get future mailings from MHP because they do a lot of stuff that I found very beneficial. Actually, how I learned how to put together the Affordable Housing Trust was through 3 seminars that I went to with MHP. So.
Okay.
So that was worth it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Somebody else want to say something? No? Okay. 3.4 Dudley Road Charitable Trust to Trust Transfer.
So I wanted to just inform the board of exactly what I'm doing as the state rep to the Housing Authority. It was, or it has been a discussion in future meetings or past meetings that we've had in regards to partly with Dudley Road property and other options available. We wanted to make sure that going forward, the Housing Authority, when they partner with another organization, they don't basically give up their rights to the building or the land or anything like that. We feel that the town really needs to retain some kind of ownership so that they do have a say. For instance, in Townsend Woods, we really don't have a say in anything at this point, what happens within the building. So if a townsperson has issues with what's going on, we as a housing authority don't really have any ability to do anything but bring it to management's attention. That's about it, which we have, we feel is very unfortunate. So what I've been looking into is to take the remaining land that is in a charitable trust and transfer it to the affordable housing trust, so that we would be able to make decisions on what's going to happen with with that land, so that we don't have to add more time onto our timeline. What usually happens, and it's something that Lori and I have discussed at great length, is that anything that we decide to do, we need to go through the land court and get a land court decision to have the land taken out of the trust and approved by the court for us to be able to do something with it. That process can be, what, Lori, 6 months, 8 months, or whatever?
Yeah, and it's it was done twice before. So it's just a process. And I think that it took less time the second time than it did the first time. Again, because it was a repetitive process.
Right. So if we take that land and we put it into the Affordable Housing Trust, we don't have to go through that step once we if we decide what we want to be able to do. That's already done. And part of the reason why we did develop the Affordable Housing Trust is to be able to hold real estate so that we then can decide what we want to do, fix it up and sell it, fix it up and rent it, however we want to be able to do with it. So I have been working on that over the past, I want to say year. And it looks like the next steps for this is that I will need to have, once I get a couple more pieces of information, I'm going to be asking the board to allow me to talk with town council and find out from town council what we need to do. It looks like if I can pull everything together, not this town meeting coming up, but the one in the fall, we might be able to put some kind, some kind of article together. But I just want.
I thought, excuse me, I thought when you said that, I thought it was something that we did vote to have you talk to town council about.
Well, I have been talking with the state in regards to it. If we got permission, then good. I don't remember, I'm sorry.
I'm looking at the minutes, but I could have sworn.
I remember asking the board if it's okay if I went ahead and talked with the state's attorneys in regards to it. But I don't remember asking about talking to town council. I talked to town council about this, yes, at one point. You're absolutely right now that I think of it. Because I did have an appointment with town council. It was to see if that was feasible, if it's something that we could do.
And he said yes.
Yes, correct.
Okay, so I do remember that, and I see in the minutes of the February meeting, and we're going to be going into the next agenda item is 3.5, idea of land swap with land across the street from Townsend Woods. I got the map of the land across the street. I know I did, right, Jody? I know I did. And I didn't do anything with it. So, Jody, can you help me out here? I think it's like 33 acres across the street from Townsend Woods.
I think you're right. I can pull up those emails because we did this in the Board of Assessors and Town Properties meeting, right? That's where we started this.
Yeah, yep.
Because I can send out those emails if you want. I just have to.
We don't have to do it tonight. So if you want to send it to the rest of the Housing Authority to look at,
Yeah.
then we can discuss it at the next meeting. Because we'll probably, I don't know what I'm going to be doing a month from now, but well, I'll still be on town property. So we're probably going to meet before the next Housing Authority meeting. So we'll discuss it then. But the idea of that was to swap the Atwood property, the remainder piece of that, with land across the street that may not have any wetlands on it. And the state would still be getting land, and the swap would be for the same purpose as what it would have been for what we were going to do.
But it sounds, is it the same acres or is it more?
Well, it's more, but we wouldn't be getting, we wouldn't be asking for, and they probably wouldn't give up more than what they were receiving. And I mean, common sense tells me that. I don't know if common sense will prevail, but I would highly doubt that they would, give us that. And where this property has some wetlands in it, maybe they won't even give us 11 plus acres. Maybe they'll only give us 8, or 10, who knows? But I think the concept is we want to find out how to do that and start that. That was something to broach to, and now we're at 7:38, to Sheila about, to see how receptive they might be at the state.
And I did bring that. I did have that discussion with Sheila in regards to that. And her first comment to me was something that we already know, is that would have to go through a legislative process.
Right.
And she said that, with us wanting to develop and us wanting to not only increase the housing, but increase housing for affordability.
Right.
She said that that's probably going to expedite through the process, because that's the huge need.
Right.
So I believe, and this is my opinion now, I believe we need to look at this very, very seriously, because I think if this happens, it's going to happen very quickly.
So I need to tell you that the thought of this came from Kevin Smith.
Yep.
He's the one that brought up, what about across the street? Because there's better land there. And sure, for the reasons that you just said, it's more usable for us to increase our affordable housing on. And they're not giving up anything, as far as what they're going to still be owning, the state.
Yeah. And Kevin Smith and I had presented to the Conservation Commission. This is going back 5 years, Lori.
Yeah, it was.
So we had asked the Conservation Commission to, that we would like to swap some of that wetland for a couple of acres of dry land that would be a part of the parcel that we would want to build on. And we really didn't get any forward movement on that.
Right. Right.
So,
I think it's because that's conservation and open space and perpetuity and all this other stuff, and they were not willing to give anything. But having
Well, they were willing to give us 5 acres for 11.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes.
But at any rate,
Anyway,
But it had a gold mine on it.
yeah, right?
the act of Congress that we would have to go through at the state is going to be a lot easier than the local conservation.
That's what I'm thinking too. And also here's the thing, the having the ability to do this, I think is going to be a win-win for everybody. This also will allow us some time to really do some planning. So if the state is in agreement for the land swap while we're putting together all of that paperwork, we then can go into a selection process for who we're going to partner with and blah, blah, blah. We can probably do all of this, concurrently, as opposed to doing, instead of doing this piece here and then wait a few months and then doing another piece.
Exactly. Yep. That's the way to get it done.
Yep, exactly.
Okay, so we'll continue to work on that, and that will stay on our agenda for the next meeting.
Kevin's a great resource. He often has very good ideas.
Yeah, because he knows so much about what's around in town, and he's walked most of it probably in his life.
Kevin's been very helpful to us on many occasions.
That's why I'm happy he's willing to be on town properties, because he has so much knowledge. 3.6 tenant seat process update. Now, this was part of the February minutes as well, where Chaz, you were going to talk to town council to approve, review it for approval, the posting of it. But since that last meeting, Jody, didn't we get 1 or 2 applications for the tenant seat?
No, well,
I
take that back. Were we sent something, but it was only, was it 1 or 2? I think that was one for the Council on Aging, and Veronica sent it to us.
Yeah, but I don't think I got anything, because I was going to invite them to our next meeting. I've been a little crazy for the last week, for sure. But I was going to invite them, but I don't recall getting an email with an actual volunteer form.
Oh, no.
The volunteer forms came in for the Council on Aging. And the Council on Aging then contacted Selectman Kell, and Selectman Kell then said, well, if they're volunteers, would they be willing to work with the Housing Authority? Because Selectman Kell knew that we were looking for a member that is in an affordable unit. The part of the reason why I wanted to put that on here is that I think the next step, and Jody, correct me if I'm wrong in this, but I think our next step is to probably connect with Karen and ask her to ask the individuals if they're in because they applied for the Council on Aging. They didn't apply for us. So I would think that if she asked them if they would be interested in the Housing Authority, and to get Karen to pass it on to us. That's my idea, Lori, if
Jody, is that agreeable to you?
Yeah, I don't mind reaching out to Karen and seeing if that's something she's agreeable to.
Yeah. I can ask her. I mean, I know her pretty well.
That's up to you.
Yeah, I'm making myself a note, and I'll call her about that, seeing if she can reach out for a volunteer for a tenant seat.
Yeah, she had reported in a Board of Selectmen meeting. She had some statistics in regards to. She's on the same page as I am in regards to the population, the mean and median age in town, where it looks in 5 years and in 10 years, and the ability for us to. I mean, there isn't the expansion going on at the senior center, but we need to increase housing, and to be able to have these, if we can start moving forward with what our planning is for increasing affordable housing, I think it could really, make a great impact on our older citizens to keep them in town.
Hey, maybe TEO would be a place to advertise for someone for that seat.
They have to be in a affordable unit in order to be on the board.
A lot of people, and that's why the idea of maybe having Karen, contact her clientele, if you will, that come in there, is because more of the people who live at Atwood and Townsend Woods visit the facility that she runs. So, yeah, that's where that crust is. It has to be a tenancy.
And I really think that information and that individual would be able to provide us with a lot of things that we can plan for our next phase.
Mm-hmm. And they probably, when they meet and do whatever activities they do there, they do a lot of talking.
Mm-hmm.
That's a person that could pass their concerns, thoughts for the future along to us. So that would
And
work.
when we've had our housing forums and all that, they've always been very well attended. We've also used the senior center for a lot of our functions too, so.
Yeah.
Can I just ask a question in terms of the seat that, Laura, you're leaving vacant here? Is there a posting for that seat as well that will be happening at some point?
Not until the election.
So you have to wait and then we post it? But
Yeah,
we could
it's not.
look for it ahead of time, essentially.
It's not vacated until after the election.
So we have to kind of wait and then.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure because we knew we could post, for the election, but
No.
because
somebody could be written in.
Okay.
And to my knowledge, actually, Jody, do you know what? Well, you must know. We must know by now what positions do not have anyone running.
A lot. Don't have anybody running.
Well, that's not very helpful, is it? I mean, that's not gonna. Oh God. So, I guess you just want to worry about that, Mickey Mouse or whoever doesn't get elected. So,
Well, what would happen, Courtney, is that once after the election happened, if nobody was written into that position, then we as a board in the next meeting, the board would then decide who we need to do. We reorganize, as far as our positions are on the board. And usually that first organizational or reorganizational meeting is when we'll decide, we got to post for a member position or whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. And then it's posted for 10 days or 14 days. And then you meet again. And if it's 30 days after the election, the board can appoint someone to, or recommend an appointment to the Board of Selectmen.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
And then if they don't fill the position, I guess you have 30 days and you can appoint yourself. Is something new I learned most recently, which other boards have done. Okay, so 3.71 affordable housing trustee opening. How?
We never filled all of these seats to begin with.
Oh, right. But Wayne did resign. That's
Yes,
one of
but
the.
Veronica Kell came in as immediately as the liaison from the BOS.
Oh, very good.
Right. So we still, so it's still Mike, Roscoe, myself, Gary Shepherd, and Ms. Kell now.
Okay. I have to excuse myself for a moment. Chaz, would you take over the chair, please?
Absolutely, sure. Joan, we have one position that's still vacant in the trust. And that is for a full trustee position, correct?
I believe so.
So this is under correspondence and clerk's announcement. So the Affordable Housing Trustee Opening, has the trust formally put in a posting for that? Okay.
Should I?
I would say yes.
Okay, I will do that.
I would put in a vacancy.
Yep,
If you want to look at the Housing Authority website,
yep.
we have a vacancy posting that you can use as a template.
Oh, thank you.
And turn it into the clerk so that you have that posting. The posting needs to be, once you post, the posting would be for 10 days, Jody. That's where I get, the posting has to be for 10 days. And then whoever responds within those 10 days, then you as the trust would be able to decide who you want and then bring that person forward. And this is where I'm not really sure. I don't think you need to bring it to the Housing Authority. I think you bring it directly to the Board of Selectmen. I think that's how it was written.
Okay. By the way, we don't have a web page either, and I started the wheels turning on that.
Good.
You. I see it right here.
Oh, then it's up.
On it, but
Thank you. Right, there's nothing on it. So maybe that was the problem. But I did notice it wasn't there at all. Now it's there at least, so okay.
Yep.
We'll get there.
Yep, we will.
I'm learning.
Because I see going forward, Joan, after the election, the next step with the Housing Authority and the trust is to discuss or make discussions on how we're going to move forward on funding, getting more money into the trust.
Yep.
That could be with all different kinds of things. We could look at grants, we can look at private funding, that sort of thing. And usually what happens with a trust is that, if we're looking for grants, we need to have some kind of master plan or a plan. And that's why we're asking to get funds reallocated so that we have this plan so that we are able to get the trust funded.
Yep.
So everything kind of pieces on together. But Lori, we did talk about the trustee opening. There is one trustee opening, and Joan is going to put in a formal posting for that with the clerk.
Okay. I did hear it. I just had somebody come to the office. It's the first of the month to pay their rent, so I couldn't do it then. 3.72 capital planning openings.
They are looking for capital planning at large members. These are capital plan. We had one meeting to submit to the budget, to the finance committee, which we'd already had that vote. But there was only 3 people that were, we had a quorum to be able to do that. But that, among a lot of other positions within town hall, are we desperately need some volunteers to help us out.
Are you on capital planning?
Yes.
Well, we have a rather small board, so it's difficult to spread us among everything.
Yep, and I was looking more in the general public than I was looking for.
Oh, good. We are televised, so
yeah, right. So,
anybody's looking to help anywhere.
Yeah, and it's the same thing with the open space committee and all of that. The thought was that with the selectmen, if we announce that in each board and committee, we can kind of get some interest with other people. We have a lot of good things going on right now in town. I'm really excited to a lot of things that are happening, things that we have in the works, the things that the Housing Authority is doing, the Planning Board is doing some really good things. So we just need help. We need more help from the community.
Yeah, it takes a lot of volunteers to really make things happen here. Unfortunately or fortunately, if everybody would just do one thing, if everybody did one thing, there would be so much that could get done. And everybody has a talent that somebody else doesn't have. So
Right.
it's always great to offer the knowledge that you already have and the abilities that you already have, which is, it's always easier to give something that you already know and don't have to research. Like Joan, you've become an expert at things you were not an expert at before, but it certainly has helped your role a great deal. Well, before we get to the minutes, under correspondence, we had, I think, well, I don't know if we were on record when we talked about this or not, the affordable housing that the lottery, was that on, did we talk about this while we were in session?
I think so.
No.
I didn't think so because it came under correspondence. So we also have to do the budget, look at the budget for a minute. And I know that we haven't done that. So again, the neighborhood at Birch Drive in Pepperell is a 5-unit little development or it affords 5 affordable units, which are, the lottery is being done with MCO Housing Services. And that lottery takes place on May 21st. There is a public information meeting on Zoom. So this will be this is posted on, is this posted on our website, Jody? The town website? Oh, well, that would be a unique idea if it wouldn't it be?
Well, I just pulled it out of the mail today. I didn't check everybody's page. I don't know, but I can put it on our website.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Definitely put it on our website because that has the meeting ID and password. The application deadline is May 4th, and then the lottery is on May 21st. So that is 5 3-bedroom, single-family homes with 1.5 baths, and it says 1 or 2 car garage. And it doesn't say from $259,900. It says sale price $259,900. That is a bargain in today's market.
It's fabulous.
So we will put that on the website, and
I'm going to try to see if we can get it on the main page, though, because it's going to be fast approaching. So I think on that front page of the website might be a better idea.
right.
Yep. I agree.
Lori, that's first-time homeowners, by the way.
No, it wouldn't be.
No, I believe it says first-time homeowners, home
Yeah.
buyers.
It
Up in
does. It must be a first-time home buyer.
Yeah.
Some exceptions apply.
Yeah.
Now, I will tell you that it used to be, because there have been other first-time home buyer programs, and it used to be if you hadn't owned a property in the last 3 years, I don't know if that number has changed.
Mm-hmm.
But 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, I don't know. But if there was a lapse in your home ownership, it was a certain amount of years. So certainly people could contact them about that. But the asset,
It's a 17-page flyer.
well, I only got 2. So maybe the 17-page one has all the application and everything, but this certainly has the eligibility criteria is right on this 2-pager. So, and so aren't the phone numbers of where they can call to get more information.
Right.
So I would say that these 2, actually the second page is the most important, but the first one is the eye-catching one, would have the information required. And certainly if you make that informational meeting on the 8th, whoever may be interested, you would be getting all the information you need and plenty of time to make that application for the lottery.
Usually in that informational meeting that you attend, they would, you can schedule an appointment with an individual that can actually walk you through that lottery process.
Nice.
Yeah, they are helpful. And I will tell you that when Coppersmith just, like started, they did not run out of the housing. The applications were slow to come. The price range was around the 200 mark. And of course, that was like 10 years ago anyway, when they did that one. And then it was the resales that became the issue, that we couldn't hold on to the affordable buyers for that. So it'll be interesting to see if they get all 5 of theirs under agreement. And so good luck to them too. That would be awesome.
They have another. I don't know if it's age restricted or it's affordable down at like Tarbell Street. Isn't there like a townhouse, whole bunch of townhouses in there?
There is off of Tarbell Street that I know of. I mean, there's apartments on the right, and when you go all the way down to the end, like the last couple of little streets or cul-de-sacs of like 2 duplexes, duplex townhouses going around that, and that is not. It's not either. It's not affordable or age restricted. They were all just regular sales. When I was doing stuff down there. I don't know if that's changed, or what the price range of I haven't done much in that area for a while. But
I just think the environment is right for us to be able to move forward on what we want to do.
Yeah. So that puts us through everything. And part of the correspondence that we got, it's not necessarily on the agenda, but was also the budget for this it's an update of our budget, I guess, showing where we are. And we have not, it also shows the $35,000 feasibility study money there, still under our realm. But in the expense items, we have an expense budget outside of staff of $2,600. And to date, none of that has been spent. It's for training, office supplies, and mileage. Some of that is for courses that the board members may want to take and have to drive through, but there aren't too many in-person training classes now anyway. But the sad part about this, it's in our budget, and when we don't use it, it just goes back to the general fund. And so we will just be maintaining it or looking at the same thing for next year, Jody?
I didn't make any changes when we talked about the budget, so it's just level funded.
Okay.
So it stays the same. And we're supposed to right now, educational purposes aside, we're supposed to ask permission to spend anything because we have a spending freeze, but we also have no accountant, so I'm not really sure how that works.
All right. Just
ask for a raise for Jody. I don't know where that is.
Yeah.
I'm trying.
And unfortunately, we can't shift from the expense line items to the salary So, all right.
If that was the case, I'd make a motion right now, Jody.
Okay, and we all did receive the minutes of it was January, I only printed off the February 24th, but it was January 8th, was it?
28th. And you know what, Joan, I'll have to send those to you because that was a joint meeting as well with the board.
Yeah, for your board, Joan.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of January 28th and February 24th.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing, seeing none. I'll take a roll call vote to approve the minutes for January 28th and February 24th.
Courtney Riley, aye.
Cal Sexton Durrani and I.
And Laura Schifrin, aye. So I'm sorry we didn't see Sheila tonight. What is the board's pleasure for a meeting date in the future?
I'm going to say goodnight.
Okay, thank you, Joan.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joan.
Appreciate it. And the only reason why I say that is because we don't know who's going to be here for the next meeting. I don't think there's anything that we need to do before the election. Chaz, do you?
No,
No.
outside of that. And as I said before, whatever happens with the election, I am still remaining as the state rep.
Right.
I'm not going anywhere.
So, and then next year you want to start working on continuing that because you need to still be the state rep. You can hold that position and be selectman.
Yes, I have cleared that. Yes, you're absolutely right.
Okay.
And I've been talking with Sheila in regards to what needs to be done. I'm putting together a letter, and then she's going to put a letter of recommendation along with it to just continue my service. And then once we need that, she'll submit it.
Okay, awesome. I would be concerned if that wasn't being done. So
Thank you. I'll take the compliment, even as backhanded as that was.
may I suggest may I suggest the 13th of May? It's up to you.
That actually fits into what I'm thinking because what happens in town meeting, especially with the reallocation, Courtney, we need to re-energize the those quasi quotes that we got and decide whether or not we'll probably have to find out if we're going to put that out to bid or how we're going to do that. I don't know what the formal process is.
We wouldn't be able to use the bids that.
Well, there are likely a time limit on them, so we could ask them, I guess, to update or resubmit, with a new date, right? But I guess, Chaz, your question is different, right? If we have to,
It's the procurement end of it.
Right.
Okay.
I'm not sure if we have to formally put it out to bid, because normally I would have to talk to the procurement officer of the town, that kind of stuff. And I think that let's get the town meeting over with. Let's make sure that we do get the funds reallocated, and then we can use that as one of the top things we talk about in that next meeting.
Yeah.
I'm okay with the 13th.
I am too.
Okay, so yeah, I think that's good because at some point I'm thinking that town properties and assessors will probably meet just before that. So maybe I'll have some information to give you or pass along to you, or Jody will, on the 13th. So you want to ask Vicky, Jody, if the 11th might work?
May 11th for that? Or, because we'll have to meet April.
We do?
Yeah, we'll have to meet at least once in April for the assessors town
Abatements?
property. That's up to you.
I know that we,
Well, you know what? Let me check with Vicky tomorrow, and I'll double check and see if we can hold off till May 11th. I might just have to get you guys to sign some of the motor vehicle stuff, and we can
okay.
wait till May 11th.
Otherwise, I would say maybe the 20th
Okay.
of April, if she needs to have April, and that's a Tuesday. And I think that gives us enough time to prepare, like as far as town properties go.
Would it be, question for the both of you, would it be advantageous for us to send we sent a letter out, Courtney, to the people saying that,
We did, yeah. We sent them a note to say that we were, needed to basically work through some things with the funding and would be back to them I think we said kind of probably in this spring, right? Something like that, something to that effect. So
do you guys think that we should send them a letter saying that, we're reconvening immediately after our annual town meeting and
I think I could definitely send them an update. I think that we probably don't want to ask them to redo it until we know exactly what that process might be. If they need to change.
Right, that's what I mean, but I want them to know that we still have them. We're still very, very interested in that. We don't want them to think that we've forgotten about them.
Yeah, I can draft a note again like we did last time, Jody, and send it to you.
I think that would be.
No, that was for assessors and town properties.
How was Thursday, May 13th, Hartley? Jody's working on it as we speak.
Yep.
Correct.
Yeah. Any other business to come before the Housing Authority? Hearing and seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting at 8:14 p.m.
So moved.
Second.
Have a roll call vote.
Courtney Worley, aye.
Chaz Sexton, and I.
Laura Schifrin, aye. Thank you all very much. Thank you, Hartley, and thank you, Jody.
Welcome.
Have a good night.